Thank you for listening to the Following Films podcast. Today I'm joined by Emmie Lichtenberg, writer and director of the film Complicated Order. Complicated Order is a queer coming-of-age story that follows Remy, a depressed 20-something who's just been dumped. When Remy accidentally places a food delivery order to her estranged ex-girlfriend's house, she sets out on a journey to retrieve it, causing her to re-examine her entire relationship and herself in the process. I had a great time with this film and a great time chatting with Emmie. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks.
Of course. Got it. Forgive my crusty appearance. It's been a busy time.
Stop. No, congratulations. I can see why it's been a busy time. How are things going?
It's going really well. Yeah, we premiered. Is this a video or just audio? Sorry.
Just audio. I just use the video for visual cues. That's it.
Got it. And do I sound okay?
You sound great. Perfect.
Okay. Do you want to do the intro? Do you want to start talking?
We're fine.
Okay, no. Great. It's been going really well. We had our premiere at Outfest last month. And so it's been a really busy, Outfest was in mid-July, late July. And then now it's rolling right over into Holly Short. So yeah, it's been super busy, but I'm also I am LA based. So it's very, I can't really complain because it's not like I'm hopping on a plane or whatever. It's, it's pretty convenient, but still exhausting. Yeah.
What's it like to see the film with the crowd? Because there's some pretty big laughs here. And I imagine that just has to be so wonderful to watch this with an audience.
Thank you, Chris. And yes, it honestly, wow, I really, really underestimated how that would feel. I was so, it's at the first screening. It was at the DGA, which is a beautiful theater and screen. And I was so nervous because, our our timeline was very quick. So I was very nervous of just we were always up against these these deadlines. And so I was just so nervous about the technical stuff, you know what I mean? And I was gosh, I'm really actually not looking forward to this screening because I'm just going to be so nervous the whole time. But then when I was there and truly sitting there in a full theater and with people laughing who I didn't even know, who weren't even my friends and family, who felt like they were compelled to laugh. That was truly really, really, really cool. That was it made everything worth it, honestly. And I'm so excited. We have another one tomorrow night, another screening tomorrow night for Holly Shorts, and it'll be at the Chinese Theater, which is going to be such
insane. That's got to be just so surreal. That's film history.
Film history. It's so iconic. I mean, and it's, I saw Barbie in the same movie theater, you know what I mean? It's going to be, and it's really fun because you can eat popcorn and eat Sour Patch Kids and all of that stuff. I feel like it'll feel like a real movie going experience. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow night. And also the first one's out of the way. So I'm here we go.
Yeah.
And
anything that surprised you in the audience reaction that when you're watching it, because inevitably, it seems like there's always something that either gets a bigger laugh or they find humor in something that maybe you weren't anticipating, or is anything that's been surprising so far?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think there were certain moments that I thought were really funny, that I was little teeny tiny character things or little tiny choices that the actors made that I didn't obviously foresee on the page or whatever. And then we, in post, just really were these spectacular little moments. And so some of those that I always laughed at and thought were great, some of those got some laughs. And so I was really, really pumped about that. I was okay, cool. That, people are picking up what I'm putting down there, that what my class is putting down. So that felt really nice. And then honestly, one of my friends nervously laughed at a moment where he shouldn't where he at a really emotional moment. I think it was, knowing him, it was a very nervous laughter, and I was dude, shut up. Yeah.
So it's the tone of this is just wonderful, because at first, when you first watch the few frames of this film, you never know what you're getting into with short films, and then you introduce the roommate who perfectly establishes the tone of this film, where it's incredibly funny, but it's also charming and warm at the same time, which is not easy to pull off.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, no, I mean, my cast, like they really knocked it out of the park. It was such a quick shoot. We only had 2 days to shoot, which is
Oh my
insane.
God.
And this was, I think it was it was just 12 pages, the script. And yeah, it was very, very, very ambitious. And it rained. Like that was something.
I was curious because you have a rainy day in LA, if that was by design or not. I'm like, wow, she got the cloudy skies. If this wasn't, just something that's, prophetic imagery, I mean, my God.
It ended up being extremely prophetic, but honestly, it was like it ended up working perfectly, because when, people see the film, they'll see that that this rain happens at the perfect sort of, like end, sort of the all is lost kind of moment. And this like real emotional climax, or one of the emotional climaxes of the film for my main character. And literally, but that entire weekend we were chasing away from the rain. It was like during this stretch in LA that it was constantly raining, and it was the weather was so bad, and we only had one half day shoot outside, and then it was literally like, of course it starts pouring rain during like this like set piece that we had outside, and I was losing my shit. I was freaking out. I just couldn't believe that literally we were like refreshing the weather page for like the week before and being like, I think we're good. And then literally within 20 minutes, it was just like, everything changed, and the weather like went to shit. Excuse my language. But honestly, like, it was so crazy on the day and so stressful because we were worried about equipment and all of this stuff. And, we really just like banged it out. And we were like, okay, if we're going to make this like choice to stay outside, you know what I mean? Like, then we're going to do that anyway. But it was great. But I think honestly, I got on this tangent and you were talking about the tone of the film.
Oh, no. Well, no. That's it. It works perfectly though, because it absolutely underscores the emotion of it. But then it's still, rain is this unusual thing in Los Angeles where it can, in most cities, rain can feel oppressive and it's like downbeat. But in Los Angeles, there's joy from rain. And you can feel that in the ending of this film, that when there's this rain, it's expressing joy. It's not expressing sadness in this film.
It's cathartic, it's cathartic, the rain. And I think Hilary Duff put it best when she said, let the rain fall down and wash away. That's how that lyric goes. But
one day I'll make it through an episode of this without having Hilary Duff's name dropped. It's ever quoting her. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I think it's a first.
My kind of podcast. But yeah, no, it was definitely, and when people watch it, I had friends being like, oh my God, how did you get, like, we could not afford rain. Let me tell you, our entire budget would have gone to rain. So, yeah.
But okay. I'm not going to give anything away, obviously, for the film, for anyone who's listening to this who hasn't seen it, but I love the ending of this. There's kind of three endings to this essentially, but there's the ending that involves pizza. And you got so close. I was almost so pissed off at you, Emmie. I was like, don't do it. And you didn't cop out. You made this the ending that it should have been. And I was really happy with that, because it's a lot of films would have headed in a different direction with that last moment. I'm really glad it headed in the direction that it did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you mean the credit scene, or do you mean
No. Right, well, that too. But right before that, there's the kind of the character's arc. And if it's the arc is just realizing that she was getting treated like shit. And it's just that's what that should have been. It's not, I was treated like shit, and now here's the next thing that I'm moving on to. It was, it just, that was it. It was this, it wasn't something that's a lot of romantic comedies, which I would say this falls into. It's a romantic comedy that they give that extra beat at the end that feels unearned. And this feels absolutely how it needed to end. Because then that ending that you have with the pizza and everything, the actual pizza and everything at the end, then that's feels appropriate.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear you say that. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. Holly Short's book, they programmed us in the romantic comedy block, which I thought, I had never thought about it as a romantic comedy in my life. I never would have thought about it. No. And, but because for me, it really is, and this is going to sound like so cheesy, schlocky, whatever, but like really it is like, a romantic comedy of like the self, of like finding the love that you like seek in someone else, really finding that for yourself first, because that's a lesson that Remy needs to learn, or is that's ultimately when we see her. Before we hit the credits, she's alone, spoiler, whatever.
Sure.
And it's a triumphant moment for her, and she feels like she's been alone, she's been dumped, but it's now she's like okay on her own, because she's learned that she wasn't being treated well, and that she was putting too much effort into someone who wasn't giving it back to her and everything. And it was because she hadn't found the self-love yet. And she hadn't, so to me, it's very much like this, a romantic comedy, but it's not about finding a partner kind of thing.
No, but I will say that being dumped and finding yourself in that process is one of the key elements of romance that we often leave out of romantic stories in film. In fact, most films are about infatuation. They're not even about the longevity of a relationship or dealing with a relationship, or they might be they deal with a breakup and then it's about the moving on. And yours is right in that little spot in between the heartbreak and sort of like, I'm going to be okay, that moment. And that's where your whole film lives. And most skip over that part and you dwell in it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, it's such an important part of, it's like such a painful and horrible part. It's such a horrible part of life, but it really is the kind of, it's so necessary in your like self-growth and self-actualization, is getting over that hump and living in that in between, as painful and terrible as it might be.
If you haven't written terrible poetry on a trapper keeper expressing that you will never find love again, then I don't know that I know you. I don't know. I can't. The people that have been happy with their high school sweetheart forever, God bless them. That's wonderful for you, but I don't get you. You're not my tribe. So.
You're not you're not. It's like people in LA who have never shoveled snow before. Sorry, if you're from, I know you're from a good climate.
I used to live in Delaware, New Jersey, so a little bit of snow, not a lot.
It. It's like this sort of thing where it's like, let me see your hands. Have you shoveled snow before?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think that perspective gives a film depth, and it gives it a feeling that's like organic and lived in and fully realized, where it just, you give the room for the comedy in here because it is something that feels utterly relatable. I don't think there's a person that can't watch this film. And again, if anybody that I would give a shit about would watch this and absolutely feel sympathy and empathy for these characters.
Totally. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah.
So then, your time in the food service industry, how much did you spend? I'm assuming that's there, just because the opening of this felt so, I was in restaurants for like 14 years. So.
Okay. I'm so glad it felt authentic. I've never been in the food service industry, the nannying and babysitting industry, 100%. That was my niche, but never the food service industry.
That's funny because that was the high school college part of it, working in pizza places. And I swear to God, I worked for that guy at least on 3 separate occasions. So.
Good. Yeah. Angelo is playing Gino. The name Gino's was named after my, like, in Poughkeepsie, New York, where I'm from, the pizza place that we used to order from when I was a kid. So yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing. There's nobody in this film with, even that character, even Heather, there feels like there's something fuller here in just these brief moments. You could feel like the film could deviate and become about these characters, as small as they might be. None of them feel one note or lifeless.
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, that's really important to me. I really love like these, I really want to make sure the film has like 1,000 different heartbeats running through it. And it feels really like just a world that that you can just like get into really easily. And I'm so happy to hear that all of the characters really stuck out to you, because that was so important and really important in the casting process, obviously. And that feels really good to hear.
So then it's really rare that I can see. I'm a dad. I have 2 kids. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 7-year-old. And when I see films about relationships like this, there's not a lot that I would want to actually show my kid. This is one I would actually want to share with my 13-year-old son, that I'm like, I look at this like, yeah, I almost just want him to find it on his own and let him discover it, because these types of stories, you don't see that enough. And I think that this would be just such a great film for a kid to find.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. Yeah, I would love his patronage, please.
He will. I'll share it with him for sure.
Please do. Please do. I would love, as many people, that's the goal, to have as many people see it as possible.
So what's next? I want more. Greedy American consumer. I want more. So tell me there's gonna be more.
Please, you're a great customer. What's next? So yeah, I mean, we're doing with the short, we're definitely going to be doing upcoming. We have, other festivals coming up. One in Stamped Film Festival in Pensacola, Florida, which is an LGBTQ plus festival, then the LGBTQ plus Indianapolis Film Festival, and then you'll see us probably for a solid, if you follow Complicated Order Film, you'll see all of the, we're hopefully going to be going wide with a bunch of different festivals, touch wood. So there. And then I'm currently writing the feature script for the film.
Outstanding. That's great. So would this be act one, or is this the third act of this? What are you thinking?
Oh no, this is totally, it's going to have very, I would say that the act one of this film is going to be of this short film is definitely like the act one of the feature film with some more bulkage in there, some like other characters and some other things going on. But I'm basically dismantling the whole thing in a great way. And I'm really, really excited about it. There's definitely going to be a lot of familiarity, but it's going to be bigger and crazier. And I'm really, really excited about it. Well, I just hope I can get it made.
You have a really strong ear for dialogue. The film looks great. It sounds fantastic. The performances are really good all across the board. They're really wonderful, but you have a really strong sense of dialogue. So you have a really great voice. So I'm wanting more of it.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, that's such a delight to hear. Thank you so much for saying that.
Well, I wish I was in LA, that I could come out there and see this and support it in person. But anybody that's listening to this, I'm going to make sure I get this out in time. If you're going to Holly Shorts, make sure you check this out, because this is a hell of a film. You're going to have a good time with it. So
thank you so much, Chris. It's really, really great to be in touch.
Pleasure. No, and thank you for making such a cool little film. I had a great time with this, honestly. So this was fun. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And I don't want to go home, not this time. You think the story gets old, but I don't mind. After all the things she said to me, after all I know she cares, but that night I was not alright. I've never been there, so I was quite scared. So I've never been there, so I was quite scared. Oh, and I remember all the words she said to me. Now I know she's got me figured out, figured out, figured out. And I don't wanna go home, not tonight. Just let me talk about all the old times. Just drink until it's funny, babe. I feel future's all upstairs, but I know I'm alright. I've never been there, so I was quite scared. So I've never been there, so I was quite scared. Oh, and I remember all the words she said to me. Now I know she's got me figured out, figured out, figured out. I miss my friends, I miss my friends so. I miss my friends, I miss my friends so.